may interrupt. I'm supposed to introduce Pat.
Oh, that's right. Thank you.
As his evaluator.
Yes, thank you, Vincent.
I'd like speeches about strategical thinking, and he is going to tell us how he is going to get our club to top-notch levels of evaluations. So I'm positive he will not astonish us with his brilliance, and it will be a pure positive energy speech about where we are today and where we should be tomorrow. Pat, the stage is yours.
Thank you for that introduction, Vincent. Madam Toastmaster, fellow members, and very welcome guests. I am going to attempt in this speech to set out what I see or define as what mastery is in evaluation, what the elements of that are, what does it mean to evaluate somebody, what should that mean? I'm going to try and identify the elements of a speech and then identify what sort of models we might use and how we're going to move from where we are today to mastery. So let me start at where we are today. Where we are today, I think, is that we have some phenomenal evaluators in our club, and that starts with our president, Vicky, who sets out, our VP, Vicky, and our founder, who sets out and demonstrates to us what mastery really is in evaluation. It is evident in everything that she does. But let me define that. I think then we have a range of talent and mastery across the club. Some people who are relatively new to speaking and relatively new to evaluation, to some who are better at it, to some who are very good at it. And we want to elevate all of our skills to a level at which this club is recognized within the Toastmasters family as a club where you go if you want to see really good, high quality, effective evaluations from all of the members. That's where we want to get to. That's the standard that I would love to see us get to. I think we're beginning a journey there as a relatively new club, and we're a long way away from it. So we want to be the thought leading club in evaluations in the Toastmasters family. That's what I would like to see it. The project that we have got to do to get there involves a number of elements. First, we have to do a lot of research because I don't think that we've got the skills internally to be able to achieve this. We need to understand what are the best practices, who are the best thinkers, how do we harness their knowledge and bring it into this club. Then how do we educate ourselves so that we understand those practices, we understand those skills, we understand the nature of a speech, because you can't evaluate it unless you understand fully what the nature of a speech is. What's the purpose of the speech? Why are we up there? What's the relationship with the audience? All of these elements, and I'll talk about those in just a minute. So what is the nature of the speech so that we can evaluate it and we can understand it? And when we educate, after we educate, we then need to practice, because I don't think that it's good enough that we have the knowledge. We have to have the confidence to be able to sit or stand in front of a group, to take a speech and to give valuable feedback on that speech that is going to help the speaker to better communicate with their audience. So think about that for a second. How do we, as evaluators, help the speaker to better communicate with their audience? That, to me, is the standard that we want to achieve, to help them to better communicate with their audience. I therefore position an evaluation firmly in the context of the speaker's purpose. Because if we're evaluating a speaker, we need to understand, why are they speaking to us? Why are they speaking to an audience? And a speech should have purpose, because I presume anybody that's speaking has purpose. My purpose is to set out my vision in this speech. So that's my purpose. So if somebody, when Vincent's evaluating, I would like to know, did I achieve that purpose? That's the first and most important thing. Did I achieve the purpose? And once we understand that, we can then begin to understand the elements that make up the speech. And they may be there. You can look at this from a couple of different ways. You can look at it as either the producer values, which are the technical elements of a speech, the speaker, the audience, the content, the performance, the impact, the achievement of purpose. Or you can look at it from a number of other elements. How did it sit with me? How did I relate to it? The consumer values, did this speak to me and did it impact me? So think about producer or consumer values. If somebody's not on mute, could you please go on mute? And then once we've got those elements of a speech understood, where we can break them down, we can identify them, and we can comment on them by understanding how they fit into creating a speech, we then need to have frameworks or models in which we can position our evaluation. So there are a number of those around, and you will know them. There'll be I heard, I saw, I felt, and others. I'm not going to go into how you use all of those, but I do want to set up a team. I've already got Vincent on it, which is fantastic. And I'll take a couple of other members, and I will develop a project working on all of us, for us, that will have a research element, an education element, and a practice element. So what I want to bring to you this year as your Vice President of Education is a clear definition of what we mean by mastery, which is to be the thought leaders on what a good evaluation looks like, to bring you the best education we can get based on the best research, and to ask you to take opportunities to practice. Because you know the idea, I can tell you and I forget, I can show you and I might remember. If I involve you, you'll understand. So it's up to you to get involved and to become evaluators, not to please the speaker, but to elevate them. Not to become their friend, but to become a good critique of how they become better to serve their audience. So I encourage you, therefore, to please put your name down, become evaluators, look for speaking opportunities. And I and the team that I'll put around this will bring you the best research and education. And I hope that you take the opportunity to we become masters of evaluation. Madam Toastmaster.
All right, well, let's get to work. Evaluator number one would be Mr. Vincent. You're up, my brother.
Thank you so very much. May I ask Mary to close her microphone, because we get some sort of echo, yes, and that would be very helpful. Thank you. We are not meant to please the speaker. That is, for me, the key message of Pat's speech. No, we are meant to give an honest and motivational feedback. This is what we are here to learn. There are a number of things I really appreciated in Pat's speech. And there are a couple of things which I would like him to perhaps improve on. He designed a roadmap, and that's something which I always like in speeches. Tell them what you're going to tell them, and then tell them what you've told them. There's a classical model of any speech, and he told us what he is going to tell us. And he asked us also about, think about it for a moment. And then he made what we call a pregnant pause. Silence. Very intelligent to ask that. And there was another thing which I quite enjoyed as his evaluator, but he asked me, have I served my purpose? And it's the first time ever that I've heard a speaker referring to his evaluator in his speech. So this is a interconnectivity between the evaluator and the speaker, and between the speaker and its audience. So asking questions and allowing time for response, I think, is a great way to allow people to assimilate what the speaker has said. That started with good evening, fellow Toastmasters, guests. I think at this stage, this is not really necessary. We know that we have already greeted each other. So therefore, these are they are lost moments, particularly if you start a speech with that kind of message, it sort of takes the power away. I would have used that central sentence saying, we are not here to please the speaker. That makes people wake up then. What is the purpose of being here? We would have been astonished. The other thing I would have recommended is he should have established his credibility, what we use since the times of democracy as ethos. What does Pat know about evaluations? He should have told us, listen, I am the VPE now. I have been doing this over many years. I know a lot about it. Therefore, I think it's always important to establish credibility in front of your audience. Having said that, I think it was a wonderful speech. It was a great roadmap. I think it's a great project for us all to grow in Masters of Evaluation. I'm happy to be part of that team, and I can only commend him for being our VPE and taking this boat onto a new journey. Thank you.